I never thought the gym I built from nothing would become the place where my marriage died. Running a fitness center in New York wasn't just my career, it was my identity. Every machine, every membership card, every square foot of that space represented years of sacrifice. My wife Chelsea had been there through it all, from the day I signed the lease on that rundown warehouse in Brooklyn to the moment we cut the ribbon on our grand reopening 3 years ago. 6 years of marriage, built on what I thought was solid ground. The first crack appeared on a Tuesday in March. Chelsea started showing up at the gym. Not to work out, she'd never been interested in fitness, but just to visit. She'd bring me lunch, hang around the front desk, chat with members. At first, I found it sweet. We'd been distant lately, both caught up in our own worlds, so her renewed interest felt like a reconnection. I remember that first lunch she brought, a turkey sandwich from the deli down the street, my favorite. She sat in my cramped office while I ate, talking about nothing in particular, smiling in a way that reminded me of our early days together. Back when we were just two people who'd met at a mutual friend's party and couldn't stop talking until sunrise. Back when everything felt possible and uncomplicated. "I've been thinking," she said that day, "maybe I should get more involved with what you do. I've been so disconnected from your world." It made sense. Since losing her job at the marketing firm, Chelsea had been adrift. She'd send out resumes sporadically, scroll through job boards without much enthusiasm, and spend most of her days in our apartment watching television or meeting friends for coffee. The gym, I thought, could give her purpose. A project to care about while she figured out her next career move. I encouraged it. God help me, I actually encouraged it. Then I hired Sam. He walked into my gym on a Monday morning in late March, resume in hand, looking like he'd stepped out of a fitness magazine. Dark hair styled perfectly, a smile that seemed genuine, and the kind of physique that made you believe whatever fitness advice he'd give. His references were impeccable: 5 years of experience, multiple certifications, glowing recommendations from his previous employer. "I'm looking to join a team that's going places," he said during the interview. "Your gym has a reputation for quality, and I want to be part of that." I hired him on the spot. The personal training program was the one area where we were falling short. We had the equipment, the space, the membership base, but not enough qualified trainers to meet demand. Sam seemed like the perfect solution: experienced, personable, professional. He started the following week, and within days, clients were requesting him specifically. He had this way of making people feel capable, like their fitness goals were absolutely achievable with just a little effort and his guidance. Revenue from personal training sessions increased 20% in his first month. I actually gave him a bonus, thrilled to have made such a solid hiring decision. Chelsea's visits increased dramatically. She went from stopping by once or twice a week to being there almost daily. She'd arrive in the afternoon, always dressed a little nicer than necessary for a gym visit. Makeup done, hair styled, wearing outfits that seemed carefully chosen. At first, I barely noticed. When you're married to someone for 6 years, you stop analyzing their appearance. But looking back, the signs were everywhere. She'd arrive around 2 in the afternoon, and somehow never leave until closing at 10. "Just keeping you company," she'd say, but she was never actually with me. I'd be in my office handling paperwork, managing schedules, dealing with vendor calls, responding to member complaints, planning marketing strategies, all the unglamorous work that keeps a business running. Meanwhile, Chelsea wandered the floor, always gravitating toward wherever Sam happened to be training clients. I'd see them talking through my office window. Chelsea would be laughing at something Sam said, touching his arm casually, watching him demonstrate exercises with an intensity that should have raised red flags. But I was blind to it. Willfully, stupidly blind. "She's really interested in starting a fitness journey," Sam told me one day in late April, completely casual. We were restocking protein powder in the supplement area, and he mentioned it like it was the most natural thing in the world. Asked me a bunch of questions about nutrition and workout plans. Thinking about offering her some complimentary sessions, if that's cool with you. Boss's wife discount. I actually thanked him. Told him that was generous, and that maybe it would be good for Chelsea to have a structured fitness routine. Something to focus her energy on while she navigated unemployment. The irony makes me sick now. I should have seen it then. Should have recognized the signs. But I was busy, distracted, trusting. The gym was expanding faster than I'd projected, and every day brought new challenges that demanded my attention. We were considering a second location in Manhattan, which meant scouting properties, meeting with commercial real estate agents, projecting finances for a multi-site operation. I was working 14-hour days, coming home exhausted, falling asleep while Chelsea talked about her day. Chelsea's newfound enthusiasm for my workplace seemed like a positive development in our marriage, not a warning sign. She was engaging with my world, showing interest in what consumed most of my time and energy. I thought we were reconnecting. I thought things were getting better. The late nights started in April. "I'm going to stay and watch Sam's last session," she'd text. "Want to see how he handles different client types. Might help me decide if personal training is something I'd want to try." Then it was helping reorganize the supplement inventory. Figured I'd make myself useful. Then, just talking to some of the evening members. "Networking for you, babe. Making sure they know how great this place is." Each excuse sounded plausible. Each one made sense in isolation. But together, they formed a pattern I was too close to see. Or maybe I didn't want to see it. Maybe some part of me knew the truth and couldn't face it. So I constructed elaborate justifications for behavior that should have been obvious. Chelsea had been unemployed for 8 months. Ever since the marketing firm she worked for downsized their entire department. The gym gave her purpose, I told myself. A place to belong while she figured out her next move. A way to feel productive and connected to something meaningful. Who was I to question that? Who was I to deny her this small comfort while she struggled with the identity crisis that comes with unexpected job loss? What I didn't know, what I couldn't have imagined, was that my wife had already made her next move. Our home life deteriorated in ways I rationalized as stress. Chelsea was distant in bed, always too tired or not in the mood. We stopped having meaningful conversations, our interactions reduced to logistics and pleasantries. When we did talk, she seemed distracted, like her mind was somewhere else entirely. I attributed it to her unemployment, to the strain of financial dependence, to the natural ebb and flow of long-term relationships. Every marriage goes through rough patches. My business partner Marcus told me over drinks one night. "You're building an empire, man. Chelsea's figuring her stuff out. You'll get through it." I believed him because I wanted to believe him. Because the alternative, that my marriage was crumbling while I was too preoccupied to notice, was too painful to consider. May 19th changed everything. I left work around 7, later than usual after a meeting with our accountant about expanding to a second location. Drove halfway home before realizing I'd left my laptop in the office, and I needed it for a presentation the next morning. Turned around, frustrated with myself, already planning how quickly I could grab it and get back out. The parking lot was nearly empty when I pulled in. Just 3 cars, Sam's Jeep, Chelsea's sedan, and the night manager's truck. I parked next to Chelsea's car, engine still running, reaching for my phone to text her that I was back. That's when the side door opened. The door we kept locked after hours. The door that led directly to the private training studio. Sam emerged first, adjusting his shirt. Then Chelsea, her hair different than it had been when I left, messy in a way that had nothing to do with wind. They were laughing about something, standing too close, and then Sam leaned in and kissed her. Not a peck, not a friendly goodbye. A kiss that made my stomach drop, and my hands gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles went white. They didn't see me. Sam got in his Jeep, Chelsea walked back inside, and I sat there in my running car, feeling like the entire world had tilted sideways. 6 years of marriage. My employee. My gym. The space I'd built with my own hands had become the setting for my wife's affair. I didn't confront them that night. Didn't storm inside or make a scene. I drove home, my laptop forgotten once again, and sat in our living room waiting for Chelsea to return. She came in around 9, all smiles and casual energy. "Hey babe, thought you'd be asleep already. Long day." I looked at her, really looked at her, and saw a stranger. "Yeah," I said. "Really long." Over the next week, I did something I never thought I'd do. I investigated my own wife. Checked our phone records and found hundreds of texts to a number I didn't recognize but could easily guess belonged to Sam. Reviewed the gym security footage from the past month and watched my marriage dissolve in grainy black and white. Chelsea and Sam disappearing into the private studio, emerging hours later. Staying after closing. Arriving before opening. The cameras didn't show everything, but they showed enough. I found deleted emails on our shared laptop. Conversations about leaving me, about starting fresh, about how Joel is so focused on the business he barely notices I exist anymore. That one stung worse than the explicit messages, worse than the plans they were making, because part of it was true. I had been distant. I had prioritized the gym. But I never imagined that distance would lead here. Then I discovered the real scope of the betrayal. Going through Chelsea's old phone, the one she'd left in a drawer after upgrading, I found evidence of previous affairs. Not with Sam, with other men. A bartender she'd met at a work event 2 years ago. A guy from her yoga class the year before that. Each relationship lasting a few months before fizzling out, overlapping with our marriage like they were nothing. She'd been cheating on me for years. Systematically. Carefully. And I'd been completely oblivious. The rage that filled me wasn't hot. It was cold and calculating. I wanted her to feel what I felt. Wanted her to lose something that mattered. But Chelsea didn't have a career to destroy, didn't have a business to lose, didn't have much of anything that was truly hers. Everything we had, I'd built. The apartment lease was in my name. The car she drove was registered to me. Even the credit cards she used were linked to my accounts. That's when the plan began forming. I consulted with a divorce attorney, brought evidence of the affairs, laid everything out. New York is a no-fault divorce state, but adultery still matters when it comes to certain aspects of settlement negotiations. My lawyer's eyes lit up when I showed her the footage, the messages, the documented timeline. With this evidence, we can make a very strong case that she shouldn't receive any marital assets, she said. Especially since you can prove the business was solely your endeavor and she contributed nothing financially. But that wasn't enough. I wanted more than just keeping what was mine. I wanted Chelsea to understand the full weight of what she'd done. I started documenting everything meticulously. Every time Chelsea came to the gym, I made note of it. Every interaction between her and Sam got logged. I installed additional security cameras in areas I'd previously left unmonitored, always careful to stay within legal boundaries. No bathrooms, no true private spaces, just the common areas where members had no expectation of privacy. Then I approached Sam's previous employer, a gym across town where he'd worked before coming to me. I'd called them during his hiring process, gotten a glowing reference, never thought twice about it. This time, I asked different questions, dug deeper. Turned out Sam had a history, not illegal, but definitely unethical. He'd slept with 3 different clients at his last job, caused drama, got asked to leave quietly to avoid scandal. The pattern was clear. Sam didn't just train bodies, he targeted vulnerable women. And Chelsea, unemployed and adrift, had been perfect prey. Not that it excused her choices. She was a willing participant in every sense, but it added context. Sam was a predator, and my gym had become his hunting ground. I gathered everything into a comprehensive file. 6 years of financial records, showing I'd solely funded our lifestyle. Security footage documenting the affair. Phone records. Emails. Screenshots of dating app profiles I discovered Chelsea had created. Testimony from the night manager who'd seen them together after hours and assumed I knew. Then, on June 3rd, I made my move. I called an all-staff meeting at the gym. Mandatory attendance for everyone, including Sam. Chelsea wasn't staff, but I specifically invited her, telling her I was making a big announcement about the business and wanted her there as my wife. She seemed excited, probably thinking I was going to announce the second location, maybe even offer her a job. 15 people gathered in the main workout area. Trainers, front desk staff, cleaning crew, the night manager. Sam stood near the back, looking confident and relaxed. Chelsea sat in the front row, smiling at me. "Thank you all for coming," I started, my voice steady despite my racing heart. "I've gathered you here today because I've discovered something that affects the integrity of this business and my personal life." I watched Sam's face begin to change. Watched Chelsea's smile falter. Over the past month, I've documented an affair between my wife Chelsea and our personal trainer Sam. This affair has been conducted on gym property, during business hours, and has created a hostile work environment. The room went silent. Chelsea's face drained of color. Sam started to speak, but I held up my hand. "I'm not interested in explanations or excuses. Sam, you're terminated effective immediately. You have 5 minutes to collect your personal belongings from your locker before I have you removed from the property. Your final paycheck will be mailed according to state law. Any attempt to contact me, my wife, or anyone associated with this gym will result in legal action." Sam's confidence shattered. He looked at Chelsea, maybe expecting her to defend him, but she was staring at the floor, her whole body rigid with humiliation. "As for everyone else," I continued, "I apologize that you had to witness this. But I wanted complete transparency about why Sam is no longer employed here and why my wife will no longer be welcome on the premises. If anyone feels uncomfortable or needs to discuss this situation, my door is open. Otherwise, thank you for your continued dedication to this business." The staff dispersed quickly, some offering sympathetic looks, others just eager to escape the awkwardness. Sam grabbed his stuff and left without another word. Chelsea remained seated, tears streaming down her face, until everyone else had gone. "How could you?" she finally whispered. "Humiliate me like that?" The audacity of that question, that she felt victimized by exposure of her own choices, sparked something dark in me. "How could I?" I repeated. "Chelsea, you've been cheating on me for years. Not just with Sam. With multiple men. In my gym. On my time. Using my resources. And you want to talk about humiliation? Joel, I've filed for divorce. You have 30 days to move out of the apartment. My lawyer has all the evidence of your affairs, which means you're not getting a cent from me in the settlement. Not the gym, not the apartment, not the car, nothing. You'll leave with exactly what you brought into this marriage, your clothes and your dishonesty. You can't do this. I have rights. You have the rights that adultery and fraud afford you in New York State, which, as my lawyer explained extensively, is essentially nothing. You want to fight it? Go ahead. I have security footage, phone records, witness testimony, and evidence of at least 3 separate affairs during our marriage. Take me to court. See what happens." Chelsea's tears turned angry. "I loved you. I still love you. I got lonely, Joel. You were always working, always focused on this place. I needed attention. Then you should have talked to me. Or left. You don't get to betray someone repeatedly and claim it was out of love. What about Sam? Are you going after him too? Sam is a predator who lost his last job for the same behavior. He'll find it very difficult to get hired at any reputable gym in this city once word gets around about his pattern of sleeping with clients and colleagues. I don't need to do anything to him. His own choices will catch up with him eventually. So we're just done. 6 years and you're throwing it away." The laugh that escaped me was bitter. "I'm not throwing anything away, Chelsea. You already did that. I'm just making sure you don't profit from it." She left that night, went to stay with a friend, and I never saw her again in person. Everything after that happened through lawyers. The divorce was finalized in 4 months, quick by New York standards, but the evidence made it straightforward. Chelsea contested nothing in the end, probably realizing that fighting would only expose more of her betrayals publicly. True to her pattern, she stayed with Sam. They moved in together almost immediately, into a small apartment in Queens that he could barely afford on a personal trainer's inconsistent income. I heard through the grapevine that Chelsea got a job as a receptionist at a dental office, that she was miserable, that Sam was already showing interest in other women. I didn't feel satisfaction hearing that. Didn't feel vindicated or pleased. Mostly I felt empty. The gym thrived. Without the distraction of a failing marriage and a toxic employee, I focused entirely on growing the business. Opened the second location in Manhattan within a year. Hired carefully, implemented strict policies about personal relationships on gym property, and built something even stronger than before. But late at night, in the apartment that felt too big for one person, I'd sometimes wonder if I could have done things differently. If I'd paid more attention, been more present, whether Chelsea would have stayed faithful. Then I'd remember the old phone, the evidence of affairs that predated my workaholic tendencies, and I'd realize that some people are just wired for betrayal. Chelsea made her choices long before I gave her reasons to justify them. I ran into her once, about a year after the divorce was finalized. She was coming out of a coffee shop in Brooklyn with Sam, both of them looking worn down by life in a way that made me feel unexpectedly sad. Not sad for myself, sad for them. For the mess they'd created chasing something that was never real. She saw me, and for a moment our eyes met. I saw regret there, real and deep. Maybe regret for losing the life we'd built, or maybe just regret for getting caught. I'd never know. I nodded once, a simple acknowledgement of shared history, and kept walking. There was nothing left to say. No words that could bridge the gap between who we'd been and who we'd become. The gym closes at 10 these days. I'm always the last one out, checking the doors, setting the alarm, making sure everything is secure. It's become a ritual, a way of reclaiming the space that used to represent betrayal. Now it's just mine again, purely, completely mine. I don't date. Haven't even tried. The trust required for a relationship feels impossible now, like a muscle I've forgotten how to use. Maybe someday that will change. Maybe I'll meet someone who makes me want to risk it again. But for now, I'm content with what I've built and protected. Sometimes members ask why I'm so strict about the professional conduct policy, why I watch staff interactions so carefully. I never tell them the real reason. I just say I believe in maintaining a respectful workplace. They don't need to know about Chelsea and Sam, about the private training studio that I eventually renovated completely, tearing out every piece of equipment and replacing it with new gear, like I could remodel away the memories. The truth is, I did get my revenge. Not just in the divorce settlement or the public humiliation, or even in taking back everything I'd built. The real revenge is in the fact that I'm thriving while they're struggling. That I turned betrayal into motivation instead of letting it destroy me. That I own 2 successful gyms in one of the most competitive cities in the world, while Chelsea works as a receptionist, and Sam can't keep a steady client base because his reputation precedes him. Some might say that's not enough. That I should have done more, hurt them worse, made them truly suffer for what they did. But living well really is the best revenge. Every successful quarter, every new member, every expansion plan is a reminder that I didn't need Chelsea. That I built this empire, and she was just a passenger who chose to jump off mid-journey. The gym where it all fell apart is now the flagship location. I kept the name, Joel's Fitness, and I kept the vision. What I didn't keep was the ability to trust blindly or love without reservation. Chelsea took those things when she walked out that door with Sam. But she didn't take everything. She didn't take my drive, my ambition, or my ability to build something from nothing. Those were always mine alone. And in the end, that was all I really needed. Thank you for watching the video to the end. YouTube may no longer suggest my channel to you, so subscribe to it to receive new interesting stories. You will also help the channel grow and improve the quality of its content. A playlist with other interesting stories that you can listen to is now displayed on the screen. You can also write in the comments what stories you would like to see on the channel.